Hey, it's Clayton Olson, and in this video, I want to offer one perspective that I believe can help you move on from a toxic relationship, whether you're in one currently or whether you've recently gotten out of one, but you still feel like you're ruminating on it and not able to really move on into this next chapter of your life. So this video is inspired by a few clients that I've worked with in the past who have come to me after being in an abusive relationship and not really being able to get over something that happened to them in their past or in the recent past, and they're still either blaming the person or they're blaming themselves, and there is this massive charge that is holding the story in place in their life that's blocking them from being able to create love moving forward, the kind of love that they want. And I want to speak specifically to that piece because I think what keeps folks stuck is this charge that they have with the person. So maybe this person was a narcissist and there was abuse in the relationship. And what often happens, I see people do, is they get stuck in this cycle of going between guilt and innocence. So it starts off with, how could this person have done this to me? They are the guilty one. They were a tyrant in the relationship. They shouldn't have been that way. How could they have done this to me? And there's an incredible amount of blame and energy being put on that person. Then what happens eventually is it kind of loops like a sideways figure eight, where it goes from all this blaming the other person to suddenly there's a questioning of self that then happens. One of, well, is there something that maybe I did to deserve this? Maybe I brought this wrath and this fury out of them. Maybe I caused them so much pain because I'm the problem and I'm broken and they were just reacting to me. Then the weight of that, when that weight of just crushing judgment on ourselves gets too much, we would then switch back over and we try to demonize the other person. And we go back to blaming them. And all of this is an effort to move on. It's an effort to get over them. Oftentimes we feel like we might have to hate someone to push them out of our lives and move on into a new direction. It's those kind of strong emotions that keep that story locked up in ourselves. This insight that I want to offer right now is in effort of us neutralizing this charge and giving you a perspective that will allow you to be clean and clear and not necessarily apathetic, but just from a place of balance, being able to see the situation for what it is and move on with your life. The perspective is, and the invitation is to see this person who was perhaps a narcissist or someone that was toxic or bad for you as being a natural disaster. Now, here's why I think that's important. If I have a house and I'm not in it, but a mudslide knocks it over, do I go inwards and think, okay, well, the mudslide took my house out because I'm a bad person, because there's something inherently wrong with me? Do I look at the mudslide and assume motive? Do I think, okay, well, that mudslide really had it out for me and that's why I did it? See, this is where we get locked up, is assuming motive and looking for blame and looking for innocence in the situation. We don't do that with a natural disaster. We can even just take this one step back a little bit and look at, like, if I go out to a park to have a picnic and it starts raining, do I look up at the sky and shake my fist and say, the clouds are punishing me? There must be something that I did today and now I'm being punished and I can't have my picnic. No, we don't do that. We don't look at ourselves and say there's something wrong with me, or the clouds have motive and this is why this is happening. And then we get caught in this place where we're again cycling between guilt and innocence. We don't do that with things like rain or mudslides. We typically don't even do that with an animal. So if there is a wild dog in an alley and it happens to bite you, do you again think that there's something wrong with you because that happened, or think that the dog is evil? Typically not. Typically we're able to see the situation through a sober perspective and say, okay, wrong place at the wrong time. Perhaps I was in the blast radius of the kind of pain and confusion the dog was in, or the fear that the dog was in. And what if we did the same thing to the person that we were in a relationship with where we experienced some abuse? We say, wow, it was bad timing and I was the wrong place, the wrong time, and I was simply in the blast radius of this person's confusion, self-hatred, and pain. And this is what I've experienced now. From that perspective, we can have a much more neutral energy around the situation, and we can begin to transcend that cycle of looking at this through blame and innocence. And that doesn't mean that we stay in the relationship. It doesn't mean that we build our house on the same side of the cliff where the mudslide was again, right? It doesn't mean that we don't bring a rain jacket next time we go to the park. We take the necessary action to protect ourselves and to insulate ourselves from being in the same situation again, but we're able to do so without the weight of the judgment, without feeling entrenched in the story. We're able to be much more sober and take clean action so that we can create a new pattern in our life moving forward. So that's the invitation, is to see this person as simply a natural disaster. They are being who they are. They are being that way, not just with you, but most likely they are being that way with many people in their life. And it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with you being in that position in their life, and this is just how they treat people. And so when you can depersonalize it like that, and you can begin to remove yourself from the equation, I think you're going to have a much easier time moving on with your life and being able to not only draw boundaries with them if you need to, but take the appropriate action to make sure that you don't end up in the same situation again with someone in the future. I hope that helps. If it does, leave a comment below, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more insights around personal development, transformation, and relationship psychology.